Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on AGam in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Kabus. Recently, more than 100 Kansas farmers, ranchers, and Farm Bureau members traveled to Washington, D.C. March 15th through the 18th for the Leaders Engaged in Acting in Washington, D.C., otherwise known as the LEADS event. County Farm Bureau leaders and their families talked to lawmakers on the Hill about issues affecting farming and ranching in Kansas, including the Farm Bill, water rights, immigration reform, and the Lesser Prairie Chicken.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on AGam in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Kabus. Several members of the Kansas Farm Bureau recently visited Washington, D.C. in March. The trip started off with briefings from key point personnel of the American Farm Bureau Federation and wrapped up with a reception where Senator Jerry Moran spoke. Dale Moore serves as Executive Director of Public Policy for the American Farm Bureau Federation.
Hi, I'm Dale Moore, Executive Director for Public Policy at the American Farm Bureau Federation, and it's great to have all the folks from back home in Kansas in town working on behalf of the farmers and ranchers, not just those from Kansas, but from all across the country. Well, one of the most important parts, one of the most important strengths that American Farm Bureau has is our grassroots members. So we are a grassroots-driven organization. Our policy book comes together by those men and women at the county level who put the policies together and carry them on up through their respective states, bring them to the national convention when we have that get together, and our delegates there put our policy book together. That policy book is what drives us here in Washington. I can go up to the Hill, visit with senators, visit with representatives, lay out what American Farm Bureau policy is. But as I share with the men and women, when they take time to come from their farms or ranches into Washington and visit with their elected officials, the most important thing that they are doing for me as their staff here in Washington is letting the men and women on the Hill know that the policies that I'm pushing, that the information I am sharing is not something that I've dreamed up, not something that I've made up. It's coming directly from our grassroots members.
Dale originates from Southwest Kansas, and him, along with the American Farm Bureau Federation, benefit from seeing Kansas Farm Bureau coming to Washington, D.C. to share their stories with legislators and others in the area.
Well, I'm excited. I grew up in Kansas, southwest corner out in Copeland, Kansas, and again, it's always great when the Kansas team comes in from the state. We've got a big group in town this week. That's one of the things that I enjoy. Is getting to see the friends that I grew up with, a number of the guys and gals that I spent time either in high school or even in college with. But when they come to town now, there's been a change with the new Congress. Senator Pat Roberts, who had previously chaired the House Agriculture Committee when he represented the big 1st District, is now the chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee. He's the first individual in history to have chaired both agriculture committees, and that's something that, as a member of the Roberts family, because I had the privilege of working for Mr. Roberts for 13 years when he was on the House side. At the same time, Senator Jerry Moran, our other senator, also who had represented the big 1st District, is now the chair of Agriculture Appropriations on the Senate side. That's a very important key role. And so when it comes to agriculture here in town, particularly on the Senate side, Kansas is well represented among the decision makers. And it's a big advantage and a big responsibility that all of us from Kansas have.
Farm Bureau works on analyzing farmer and rancher problems all over the nation.
Well, when we look at advocating on behalf of farmers and ranchers, particularly the Farm Bureau members that we who work at American Farm Bureau represent, as well as the state staff, there's a tendency to think that there's American Farm Bureau, then there's the Kansas Farm Bureau. And one of the things we try to make sure that folks who come to town understand is that I work very closely with the Kansas Farm Bureau team, and we are a team. What makes that team work is when the men and women out there at the countryside, the boots on the ground level, take time to come to Washington. The representatives, the senators, they know that it's their constituents who are coming to town that are taking time away from, their day-to-day work, how this has affected him, whether it's the Water of the U.S. rule or it's an immigration reform issue, an ag labor issue, or it's my, as a farmer, my ability to use genetically modified varieties of seed. Or I'm dealing with endangered species. All of those that's a real honest to goodness, kind of grassroots level impact that the policies, the laws, the regulations that the men and women out in the countryside have to deal with day in and day out, gives us that ability to make that much more progress toward trying to find a solution, or in some cases, simply trying to find a way to stop bad things from happening.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on AGam in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Kabus. The Environmental Protection Agency and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers recently issued a proposed rule that would expand its regulatory authority under the Clean Water Act to land features and waters that consist of puddles, ponds, ditches. That would give the agencies power to dictate land use decisions and farming practices in or near them. The rule would make it more difficult to farm or change a farming operation to remain competitive and profitable.
Hi, I'm Paul Schlegel, the Director of Energy and Environment Team at American Farm Bureau Federation. I was excited this morning to meet with farmers from Kansas who are on their way to Capitol Hill to talk about one of the most important issues we have facing farmers today in agriculture. It's a proposed regulation by the Environmental Protection Agency that would redefine waters of the United States, essentially giving them expanded authority to regulate not just water on land in the United States, but activities that take place on farmers' property throughout the United States. It would have a significant increase in the presence of the federal government on land for farmers throughout the United States. We're trying to educate the farmers as to what that would mean for them so they can communicate that message to Capitol Hill. It was a great opportunity to meet with people who are going to be affected by this federal policy, and we're looking forward to the conversations they're going to have with lawmakers over the next few days.
Recently, several members of the Kansas Farm Bureau visited Washington, D.C. in March. County Farm Bureau leaders and their families talked to lawmakers about issues affecting farming and ranching in Kansas, including water rights.
One of the key factors in making these visits successful in Capitol Hill is to have individuals put in their terms in what they face every day in their land and their operations, what it means when the federal government redefines a water of the United States. If there's an erosion feature on their property that currently would not be subject to federal regulation, they can point out to legislators in terms that's quite easy for them to understand what the impact would be on their livelihood. That's why these visits are absolutely critical, because it brings home to policymakers the impact in real terms, what it means to individuals day in, day out on how they operate and how the government's jurisdiction will affect their lives.
In the Clean Water Act, any citizen with standing can sue under the Clean Water Act. To have a standing, a citizen must prove that he or she has an interest which is or may be adversely affected by the alleged polluter's actions.
One of the key aspects that's part and parcel of this proposal by the agency is once they extend their jurisdiction on land, that brings with it the citizen lawsuit provisions that are contained in the Clean Water Act. So what the agency is doing is they are responding to, in their terms, two Supreme Court decisions, one in 2001, the other 2007, that effectively limited what the EPA can do. They're claiming that this will not change anything, that it keeps it the status quo. In point of fact, what it will do is will give the agency much clearer authority to do things which they have not done in the past, and it brings with it also this question of the legal liability that a landowner would face if a local activist organization, for instance, does not like the chemical they're using on their crops, don't like the fact they're using crops. If they can find a hook in the Clean Water Act to litigate and bring those owners to court, it creates havoc for people at great expense, and it also expands authority beyond what the agency says they want to do. This has been a high priority for the American Farm Bureau Federation. Our board has designated a priority. We have been running an ongoing campaign called Ditch the Rule so that people can join with us in looking at what the agency is doing, reining them in, and getting support, bipartisan support on Capitol Hill for stopping this land grab and jurisdictional grab by the federal government.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more.
Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Working your cattle just got easier. Introducing the new Vet Gun delivery system, a new way to apply topical insecticides to your cattle. The Vet Gun lets you remotely treat cattle with effective parasite control, so you can do it just walking among the herd. It's that simple. The proven topical insecticide AML Vet Cap is used with the Vet Gun. It works fast to control horn flies and lice while minimizing stress on your cattle. Fast, easy, effective. Vet Gun. Check with your animal health supplier for availability.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on AGam in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Kabus. Several members of the Kansas Farm Bureau recently visited Washington, D.C. in March. County Farm Bureau leaders and their families talked to lawmakers about issues affecting farming and ranching in the state of Kansas, including the Farm Bill, water rights, immigration reform, and the Lesser Prairie Chicken. The information Kansas Farm Bureau members learn here can be redistributed at the local level and used in proposing ideas and legislation back home. The trip in Washington, D.C. started off with briefings from key point personnel at the American Farm Bureau Federation and wrapped up with a reception where Senator Jerry Moran spoke.
Hi, I'm Derek Sawyer, fourth-generation farmer from McPherson. I'm here in Washington, D.C. this week with Kansas Farm Bureau. I currently serve on the Resolutions Committee, which we put together some policy and take information from our members, kind of craft policy that our organization can vote up or down on at our annual meeting, and kind of set a general direction for our state organization. The first day in Washington, D.C., we had the opportunity to meet with different representatives from the American Farm Bureau Federation. They gave us a lot of information on what was going on up here in Washington, D.C., kind of what they've been working on all year and kind of the trouble spots that they see coming up in the next legislative session. And it was a great primer to get us to focus on issues as a group and to be able to take a unified general message to our congressmen and senators.
Derek and Katie Sawyer have grown their fourth-generation family farm to include additional acres and cattle facilities. Derek manages the daily operations as well as bookkeeping and purchasing. His father continues to work on the farm, providing insight and expertise. Katie works full-time off the farm but provides support when she can in the form of food and advocacy. The Sawyers are involved with the Farm Bureau organization at the state, county, and federal level. Katie is a spokesperson for Common Ground Kansas and a member of the Kansas Beef Council's Team Beef. Katie is also a host on the Friday portion of AGam in Kansas and discussed the importance of agriculture advocacy and reaching out to lawmakers about rural lifestyles.
I'm Katie Sawyer. My husband Derek farms outside of McPherson County. I do a lot on the advocacy front. You guys will see me Friday mornings on That's My Farm. And I like to come on these trips to get an idea of where our legislator stands on issues and also remind him what's important to us. Congressman Yoder and Congressman Pompeo have both visited the farm personally, and so it's great to establish those personal relationships, and then while we're up here we have the ability to maintain those relationships and follow up on issues and what we're seeing happening on our farm. The American Farm Bureau Federation staff always talk so much about the stories and the personalization of the issues, and so that's one thing we can really bring to the table. And I know, having had the congressmen visit our farm, they both said that they can take back stories and firsthand experiences that they learned from us to share, with their fellow legislators as they're trying to craft legislation or, control spending or other issues that are really valuable to them in negotiating issues.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Pope, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on AGam in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Kabus. Recently, more than 100 Farm Bureau members, farmers, and ranchers from Kansas visited Washington, D.C. March 15th through the 18th for the Leaders Engaged in Acting in D.C., otherwise known as the LEADS event. Brett Skillman is from Coffee County and discussed wildlife refuge ground in the state of Kansas and how it affects Kansas farmers and ranchers.
My name is Brett Skillman, and I farm down around New Strawn, Kansas in Coffee County. I'm on the Leads trip with Kansas Farm Bureau, and we've been fortunate to get to visit with our congressmen and women. One of the issues I got to talk with them about today is the issue on wildlife refuge ground. They're banning the use of neonics seed treatment and GMO crops starting next year. And one of the things I worry about there, although I don't myself or my family really farm on ground owned by the wildlife refuge, I'm kind of worried that may set a precedence on any other government ground or any other ground that may be farmed like the government ground is. And they gave a reason on the neonic seed treatment that neonicotinoids cause harm to pollinators, and I'm not sure that's totally proven yet. They gave no reason to ban the GMO use. I think most of this is all political, and I'm afraid that may trickle down into other areas. And the EPA and the USDA have both said that both of those products are totally fine. And then we get the wildlife refuge folks saying that no, we can't do that. And so the right hand's not really agreeing with the left hand. And the congressmen and women, they were very receptive and glad to hear about it. Hopefully we can make some progress there.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on AGam in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Kabus. In March, several Kansas Farm Bureau members visited Washington, D.C., where County Farm Bureau leaders and their families discussed with lawmakers about issues affecting farming and ranching in Kansas.
I was very excited to have the opportunity to participate in the Leads trip this year, and it was very important, I thought, and a great experience to be able to interact with our elected officials and let them know what some of our concerns are back home on our operations, and to kind of see where they stand with certain issues. And I also think that just the trip as a whole will help improve my leadership skills and abilities.
At first, Alexis was apprehensive to meet with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. However, after the process, she feels as though this experience has helped her understand how policy works and made her more committed to telling the story of Kansas farmers.
I was a little worried too at first. I thought, oh, I can't do that. I can't go talk to an elected official. I don't have, but you can. I can. It's a lot easier once you just make that first step to get involved and tell your story. And that's what's important, and that's how you get your message across.
Thank you for watching Part 2 segment over the Kansas Farm Bureau in Washington, D.C. For more on Farm Factor, or if you want to view this episode again, visit us on www.agaminkansas.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. So have a good day with good luck.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.